Let me tell you what the weirdest thing about having the COVID is. I took a shit the other day. Couldn't smell a thing. Not a thing.
Did you ask somebody else to come in to check just to make sure it is not, it is just you?
Oh, then maybe my shit don't stink.
Huh? You've never had taken my shit?
Joe, stop screaming. You're like your levels are going all over the place. What have you guys been doing on Twitch?
It's like you're over micing like those annoying YouTubers.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you get real loud and then you like you back off a little bit.
What about now?
Yes.
Okay. So you've never taken a shit that don't stink before?
No, never. Happened before. Never. Not once. 39 trips around the sun, never once. Always smells like shit, Joe. Every single time.
Chris, you too?
I mean, I always smell my shit, yeah.
You always smell like shit? I've taken once in blue moon shit that don't smell.
Well, you're special. You're a special case. But yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy experience. To a point where, like, I mean, and let's say it was just once, Joe. I mean, we're talking about a week now. You know what I mean?
Okay. So can you just not smell anything else, or just not your shit?
No. So it's weird. So Laura did like this test on me with spices. And is
this some weird bedroom shit?
Yeah, I wish.
Okay.
But it was like 6 different spices, and she like undid the top and like just held them beneath my nose, and I could only smell 2. And the other ones I didn't even know she was holding anything there. But it was one was cinnamon that I could smell, and one was garlic that I could smell. Garlic salt, to be specific.
Huh.
Yeah, it's bizarre. When I taste things, like I can taste, like I'm having a cup of coffee now, and I can taste the sweetness, like in the creamer, and like we had pizza like the other night. I can taste like the saltiness in the pizza, but it goes to show like, first of all, I'm becoming really frustrated about it. Like it's bothering me, where I want to taste things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But on top of that, it goes to show how much texture matters. Because like I'm still enjoying the fuck out of certain textures, like pizza, for instance. Do you know what I mean? Or how much like the temperature of the coffee, like how like other components aside from taste have a huge impact on enjoying the thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else has been. I'll tell you what else has been super frustrating about it. But this is much more a matter of, logistics and convenience and such. But like, so I got tested, and they take like a stick, the size of a barbecue skewer, and it feels like they take the pointy end and shove it all the way into your deepest fears. And I thought this one person was going to bring out my brains on that stick. I had no doubt, as a matter of fact. And it came back negative. So, due to my symptoms and the accuracy of the test, they wanted to test me again. So I went again, and it came back negative. Now, the 2 people at my work that had the exposure with me came back positive. And my symptoms were 100%, like almost to the decimal of the temperature, in line with one other person on my shift. And so I was like, well, I know I fucking got this thing. Like, it's everything is lining up.
Yeah.
So Laura started feeling bad. And in order for her to go back to work, she needed to get tested. So she goes and gets tested, and she's positive. So now I am the missing link between the 2 worlds, right?
Right.
But what has been so it's been frustrating for people like hitting me up like, so did you test? And I'm like, well, I did test, but here's all the, like, it could never be simple with me where I'd be like, yep, I'm positive, I got it, relax, stay away from my house for a bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It has to be some fucking story. But aside from that, I've been relatively fine. I had a couple days that were rough, but then it was no big deal.
But you're basically feeling normal now, other than the smell and
Yeah,
taste.
yeah, smell, taste, and I'm still congested. Like I'm clearing my throat a lot. Like I'm coughing. You know what I mean? But it's not.
You feel fine.
Yeah, I had a. What do you say?
You don't feel sick. Like you don't feel under the weather.
No, I feel like you know what it is? I kind of feel like I drank too much. And not like hungover, but just like I should have just thrown that last sip down the sink. You know, like not like I had 3 drinks after I knew I should have stopped, and now I'm fucking terrible. But like that, like it's like this, like it's like this, like that lingering feeling of like, oh man, do I take an Advil? Do I not take an Advil? You know, that sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Like a slight headache, like a slight, like you're kind of like in a daze a little bit, like I'm doing goofy ass shit, like like putting the creamer in the cupboard and the cup in the fucking fridge, like little weird shit like that, like because I'm just
Zoinks.
like because I'm just like out of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like nothing crazy, you know, and
Silver lining is you're not fucking
ill, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not an elderly gentleman quite yet, and I'm not and I have
You're not long in the tooth, so to speak.
No, not quite yet. I'm almost there. But on top of that, like I'm getting a phone call from somebody at work. On top of that, I'm also like I've got a clean bill of health. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't take any medications. Like I don't have any history other than I had my appendix removed in fucking '07. Do you know what I mean? Like and I had my wisdom teeth taken out, and it's like the only thing I got to fill out on my medical history form. So I had that going for me as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's been an interesting ride. It's been fascinating how different how identical my experience has been with one other guy that I work with. How different him and I's experience has been compared to the third guy that got exposed, and how different both of those experiences have been compared to Laura's experience.
Yo, Bobby.
Yeah.
You say different Baltimore as fuck. You're saying different, like DIFERT, different.
It's different. Yeah, I guess. But like, it's just been crazy how it has affected all of us. And like, there's somebody else I know that has it, and like theirs is way different as well. So like, it's just crazy how like everybody seems to react to it. It's like this huge scale, of reaction.
One thing, there's so many different things.
Yeah. I read an article on MSN that was saying how they're starting to notice that like across the board it seems to be weaker, and it might be like some other, and they quoted a whole bunch of viruses that like have gotten weaker and kind of just fizzled out over time, like they evolved backward, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, because virus mutate. They don't always mutate for what's best for them.
And like they were saying how like because you look like early on in the beginning, like everybody was like getting hospitalized and shit, and like now like I was inconvenienced for a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is very nice compared to
The thing you don't know is any sort of chest congestion or tightness in your chest you have now, that might not go away.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is true. I don't know. Mine hasn't been too bad in that regard. Like it's just been like kind of like obnoxious. Like if this thing wasn't going on, I don't even think I would notice it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I would just be like, oh man, I got some.
Would you rather have permanent congestion or permanent weird taste smell?
Congestion.
Wow.
Yeah, I tell you, it sucks, dude. Like
I can imagine.
it does something to your quality of life.
Oh yeah. Well, I was thinking congestion does too. I don't know if it limits your abilities. If it's congestion,
so that's fair. I don't know. I haven't done anything kind of rigorous since it started.
Your walks?
Yeah, we've been still doing the walks, and and to be fair, like there was a couple times where we were doing the walks where we try to go way early when like nobody's out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was a couple times when we did the walks where I was like, man, like I'm struggling. You know, like not like I'm not gonna make it back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I'm like,
Again,
let's slow it down a little bit. You know, like, and we're not even getting it. You know. So it's been an interesting ride. Jana's starting to ask questions, like you know, like, what are you guys doing home so much? You know,
you haven't told them?
No, because they'll worry. I'll tell them, you know, after we're on the other side of it, because they'll worry about themselves. They'll worry about us. You know, like they're not showing any symptoms. Like the baby was a little lethargic one day, and that was it. Other than that, you know, and we'll dig into that more on this month's Wine and Cheese, I'm sure. You know, Laura, telling her, because like my wife is like a go getter. Like she's up early as fuck. You know what I mean? Like by the time that most people get up, she's already fucking baked blueberry muffins from scratch and fucking cleaned the kitchen and fucking marinated the chicken for later on, and then she's ready to take a fucking 2-mile walk at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, can I get a cup of coffee first? You know, like. Yeah. And to see her be like, I need to sit down for a minute is it's some weird shit to see. But, you know, could be fucking way worse.
Yeah.
So
all is okay and seems to be on the up and up.
yeah. Which is good, you know.
Yep.
So with that, let's get into some nerd weeks. Let's go to you, Joe.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to thank you for all the Nerd Rage people that has come by the stream. There's been quite a few of them. I really appreciate it. I don't remember everybody's name, but like stuff that stuck out is Calico Kid's been around for a while. Dakota Mike recently showed up. Todzilla showed up and also gave us a Prime subscription, which is awesome. But like, yeah, thanks to everybody. It's always good to see NR in there.
Nice.
That's just because Mezco ain't dropped nothing for him to buy for me lately. He has some disposable income.
Amazon Prime sub is free.
I know. I'm just picking it, Todd.
Oh, I'm also plugging. For all you out there who has Amazon Prime, you automatically get one free Twitch subscription. So throw it our way if you aren't using it for anything else. We went to do a you have to get CPR and basic life saving skills certified, right, for what I do. So I had to get recerted, and that was a weird experience, because usually you go to a class and there's a bunch of people and then you do hands-on and you like kind of practice on each other a little bit. But this time we got sent like a really the quality of the content is good, but the animation is terrible program and the email that we have to go through. It looks like I don't know. It looked like they pulled a random guy off the street to draw these animations. Jana could do better, for sure.
Really?
And we went through, you have to go through the online training. So by the time you get there, all you have to do is demonstrate on the dummies that you know what you're doing. And there was like only 5 people there, and like everyone was so fucking standoffish. And we didn't even have to take a test now because like they want minimal contact with everything.
Wow.
Joe, did they have did they have 4 dummies?
They had 5.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Much like everything else that has us beat.
But yeah, that was good. I'm glad we didn't get tested, because sometimes I don't know, I lose attention span. I have this guy at work. I don't know how to tell him, a customer. I don't want to be rude, but so he had throat cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had his thing removed.
So his penis?
No, his cancer and throat parts removed.
Okay.
So like he can't.
That makes more sense.
There's no vocal cord basically, right? So what normal people would do when they become mute is they would use a pen and paper or
sign language,
or they would have the cell phone to type on to show you. But this guy insists on just croaking at us. It's like,
I don't mean to laugh.
Exactly. like literally, that's what it sounds like. And like, it's been a few months now, and it's hard. First of all, it's hard to help him. It's hard to hear. And second of all, it's just especially with a mask and the trying to keep distance while trying to hear him through the mask at the same time. Like, I want to tell him, but not rude and be insensitive about, hey, why don't you fucking write that shit down?
Right.
Bro, that sounds like something like you need to call into the morning radio show and ask. It's such a peculiar problem. But I mean, look, I had customers, in the auto parts business that had had a tracheotomy or whatever and couldn't talk. I mean, they would just do exactly what you're saying, and you'd have to really listen hard. And
so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you can't really read their lips because they're not making the same, I don't know. It's heartbreaking, and I feel really bad for those people. But at the same time, how are you supposed to handle that? Especially when you can't let them yell in your ear.
Yeah, and he can't yell because it's just a fucking hoarse croak. And I just accept it, man. You lost your voice, bro. Do something else. But yeah, I don't know. I guess no one in his life is willing to tell him. And I understand that it's hard to tell people tough things, but that was something that came up 2 days ago that I had fresh in my mind. I didn't know if you guys had any advice or anything, but obviously,
Yeah, I mean, it's almost I don't know. I don't know. It's
Bobby,
fucked up.
What person who would be the one to say it? Do you say some fucked up shit, some kind of joke, and then
yes, maybe not in the professional world though. In the real world, I'd have been like, "Can you still hear?"
Wow.
See, I knew it.
Be my go-to. You don't hear how that sounds? That sounds fucked up. You can't hear that? That would probably be my go-to. My go-to there.
I've been watching the Titan Games season 2. I haven't watched season 1, but someone's put me onto it. It's on Hulu. It's like a NBC show or something.
I've watched a good bit of it. It's crazy.
It's fun. I've been into it. It's getting my adrenaline up and hyped. When they're having real close competitions. And it's amazing. So this is basically it's not an obstacle course per se, but it's like a head-to-head competition with different activities, like pulling a rock or running into a fucking wall on opposite sides and trying to push it against each other. And you start out with a bunch of randos that contestants, and then The Rock is hosting, so you would love it, Bobby, because you love it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they would the season would start off with famous people as the final hurdle. So. But it's been amazing how badly these fucking professional athletes are doing against average people.
Yeah, they had so you're not watching the current season?
I am watching the current. Dude, I love Country Strong. It's
okay, that's what I was gonna say. There's a guy, Bobby, that's from some 218 people population town in Kentucky that's literally destroying these professional athletes.
Really?
I mean,
he doesn't train
the brakes off of them.
He just works at a farm.
He's a teacher.
And he doesn't look like much. Just shoot, you look at him, he's kind of derpy in the face. He sounds real country. He his body's
it's not a wonderland.
It's
definitely not a wonderland.
But when I first saw him compete at the finals, obstacle course, and how fast he was fucking moving, I'm like, that is ridiculous. I would have never seen that from him. I like to root for him because he's both currently the champion, who's won 3 times in a row, and the underdog at the same time somehow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because nobody expects him to ever.
And still, even the 3rd time he's competing, I still think, he's gonna get his ass kicked. But he's not. He's not getting his ass kicked at all.
I'll tell you, man. The person that I watched, rather in my life that I've seen, work the hardest and outwork everybody was super overweight and a chain smoker. That's the hardest working, strongest person I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking surprising. These football stars and fucking MMA stars and fucking Olympic champions are losing against fucking average bros off the street.
Yeah, they had a chick that was she had trained to wrestle. I don't know if she ever really wrestled in WWE, but they had her train. Billy Gunn was on there. was in WWE.
Yeah, she did good against the regular contestant, but
yeah, she didn't hang with the Titan person.
The Army nurse. She lost to the Army nurse. Yeah. But she's much hotter than the Army nurse, so she's got that.
I'm sure that'll ease her mind when the time comes.
Yeah, but no, it's been real fun, and like unfortunately, like now I'm caught up. I didn't realize it was a thing to catch up to. I thought it was just a season.
Well, strength and ability, man, it comes down to a lot more than just physical training and health and fitness.
Yeah, sure.
You know, people are born with natural talent. People's life experiences gives them a certain amount of endurance and ability that otherwise you wouldn't necessarily, do you know what I mean? Pick up on.
Yeah.
Like you can't account for that shit. You know, no matter how much CrossFit you do.
Yeah, a lot of these people do CrossFit. I've noticed as they show in clips. But yeah, the only thing I don't care about is like they do with most shows is padding it out with like life stories. Like I don't give a fuck about this.
Right.
Yeah, dude, so many people do. So many people do.
Her dad died 3 years ago, and now is.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you. I was watching.
I get it.
On Sunday night, just out of literally, the TV was on. I don't think anybody's really paying attention because we had actually already seen half this episode. America's Got Talent was on, and some guy, you know, they always, I don't know if you've ever watched that show, but there's always some, you know, we were homeless and we lived in the van and I had my guitar and whatever. It's always something.
Yeah.
This guy was like, yep. So my dad called me and said he wanted to kill himself, and the next day my aunt called and told me that he did. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? And of course I went and spiraled in this drinking depression, and you know, picking up the guitar got me out of it. But I'm like, geez, that's a lot of details. I think you could have just.
Yeah, not to share, but yeah. And then the kicker is that if they win, they play it over and over again, like every show. Fucking up, but I guess just how television is.
That's how television is. Exactly.
Yeah.
So now the fighting game's over. I'll get back to fucking Unsolved Mysteries probably tonight. And this week's this week's No Sleep Creepypasta recommendation is "I Will Always Be Your Teddy Bear." That's a very good one, and also Sunset and Midnight at Texas are very good for those who follow. And lastly, I want to say fuck Anime Direct. Never buy from AnimeDirect.com because they're
okay. I won't do it.
Yeah, for anyone.
All right, Joe. I'm telling you, I'm gonna put my foot down. You've got it.
I mean, I had it bookmarked, but I'll take it down.
You got it.
What?
You've got it. You've convinced me. You don't worry about it. I stand strong with you.
Cool.
I will not fuck with that service.
No, do not. It's the worst. It's the worst collector's item buying experience I've ever had.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
So tell me. I mean, talk about it.
Well, I bought a piece from them, like a $400 and something piece. It's third party, but well-known third party companies. A very good stature. I'm very glad to have bought it. This was like October of last year. So
what is it of?
Christmas fairy character Roanoke Zoro from
the green hair dude.
Yeah, you fucking know.
Okay, check me out.
It's a quarter scale. I don't know. It's large. It's very very nice. Nicely sculpted, nicely painted, except for the fact that it was broken.
Okay, all right.
So it came broken. It came.
How much is it? How much are we talking?
$450, something like that.
All right.
So it came as usual with third-party stuff. I've never bought from this company before.
Sure.
So, but like it seems like they've been around for a while and people use them. So they seem to be a go-to place for third-party anime statues. So this box came. I took a picture of it as I would normally. Like the box is not dented. Everything is fine. It was signed for. I opened the inside of the box, took a picture of it. Everything's fine. And I opened it. It had like multiple broken pieces on the inside.
Yikes.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I took pictures of that and I sent it to them. Be like, look, this is the box that came in. I took pictures of it, sealed. I took a picture of everything basically. They're like, okay. We will see what we can do about getting you some replacement parts. And then I didn't hear anything for like 4 months. And then I emailed them back. They're like, oh yeah, we're working on it. We didn't forget about you. I was like, all right. And I waited a couple months because of the whole COVID thing. I'm like, missed shipping or whatever. It's difficult.
Sure.
And then I contacted them again. That guy didn't answer back, so I contacted their Facebook admin, like that, I guess the manager, and he got back to me like, okay, let me go check on it. And he said, oh, it's too late now. The company is no longer producing replacement pieces. I'm like, well, I have a broken piece. I paid for it, and it came broken. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. Like, I basically nothing. Basically, he's saying like, there's nothing I can do. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I get it. Like, these are limited production pieces, third party. Like, the mold might even be not even existent anymore. I get it. How about you just fucking give me some store credit, something,
right?
And that was the last message I sent, and nothing. Nothing.
Can you do a credit card claim on?
It's too late, I think, because PayPal is like 6 months. And I waited longer than that because
actually PayPal's longer than that now.
Yeah, I would hit up PayPal, man.
Worst case, just hit them. But the worst case, they're going to tell you no.
Yeah.
I would just go in there on that charge and just file a claim. See what happens.
Yeah, I guess I should do that. Like, because it didn't matter. Like, I already spent the money, and it's in my ability. Like, probably not in the normal person's ability to fix, but like someone like us, we can glue it back together and touch up the paint and shit. But I shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
exactly. You shouldn't have to do that.
Agreed.
Like, let me give you free shipping next time, or let me give you fucking $30, something, anything to show that you give a fuck. They did not.
And on
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I was just gonna say I had some shipping damage occur when you ship out 100 of something. That's just naturally gonna happen. And I told those, I've shipped out 2 replacements that were just basically destroyed in the mail. One to Australia, of course.
Ugh.
And other people that broke. I said, look, you can try to fix it yourself. Here's how you fix it, or if you want to send it back, I'll be happy to fix it for you. But either way, next time you order, hit me up first, and I'll make sure to give you some sort of discount code or something.
Wow.
That's you got to do that with your customers, and that tells me that they have more customers than they possibly know what to do with.
Yeah. Or they just don't care, which is fine. Because BPTS has more customers, I'm sure, than they can possibly know what to do with either. But they've never treated me bad ever with anything.
Yeah,
BPTS is
great. It takes them 6 to 8 months to ship anything, but they are on point with their customer service.
Yeah,
and you say that, Chris, and I know that's the thing. Like it's the thing to say, but I will tell you, if you have it pre-ordered, you get it within the week it arrives to the store. It's from the week it arrives to the store, it is at your doorstep within the week. Now, if you buy it, it's in stock. Now then now you're looking at a week and a half, 2 weeks. But
so I bought some stuff. It was $100 and some odd worth of stuff. I didn't do the $4 bullshit shipping. I did the full, whatever priority 2-day shipping. And it took them 7 days to ship the shit. It was 3 figures.
But they were in stock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that. But
shouldn't be a difference. It shouldn't be a difference.
Well,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I hear you. But I'm just saying that like everything that I like when I had to buy something that's in stock, my experience is similar to yours. But when I buy something that's pre-ordered, it's at my door within 7 days. From the day it comes in stock.
I think they just have maybe a giant warehouse, so things are in stock.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, it's like, all right, here comes the Metacom pallet. All right, we know we need 28 of this for pre-order. Set those to the side.
Exactly.
And well, what are we going to do? Let's put them in, Bobby Skullface's pile or whatever.
Right.
Do you think they have little cubby holes with all our names on them? Is that how it works?
Yeah, like inner office.
Yeah.
Like of all the things that I could complain about, shipping is not one of them.
But I will say,
I'm never in a rush for anything myself, so that's probably a reason why I don't.
I'm not. I think I enjoy the anticipation of getting the shit more than getting the shit sometimes.
Yeah. Joe, you are the opposite of a Karen. So it's a shame to hear that you had that experience. Like whatever the opposite of Karen is. I don't know. Candace. But you are super forgiving. You are like the kindest person when it comes to stuff like that. Like even listening to your story, it's like, well, there's no more. There's nothing I can do for you. Okay, I understand. It's third party. So what about this? Could you do this for me? You know what I mean?
Whereas it's kind of retail, so like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
And your whole thing with Modulcase. Do you know what I mean? Like when we've talked about it here, and you're like, well, look, I know it's a small operation. It's the guy. You know what I mean? Like everything about like customer service, you always give the benefit of the doubt. So to hear that you're having a negative experience is like my heart goes out to you because it's a fucking bummer. Whereas with me, I'm like, get that motherfucker on the phone. What's your mom's name? I'm gonna talk to her too.
You can't win all the time. Like I hardly ever have bad shopping experience, so it's just a bummer that this was an expensive one.
Yeah.
But let's learn, and I hope people won't fucking buy from them that hears this.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about me. I've co-signed you. I'm on board. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind you on this one, Joe.
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me.
I think that's it. Streaming, 40K. That's those things are a constant in my life now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do you play some 40K or you do some painting?
No, just working on a building mainly. Like building.
The new box set.
Yeah, the new box set. Nice. Fucking great.
All right, Chris, how about you?
So I had an interesting couple of weeks actually. We finished the. Huh?
You weren't here last week.
That's right. We finished up the doors. They're all gone. Well, there's 4 of them sitting here. I'm waiting on the final payments on some payment plans we had, but everything's shipped. So on to the next one, so to speak. Last week didn't build a single thing. It was kind of weird. I think I'm having withdrawals at this point. We got that the machine put together. I built a table, so it'll hopefully be ready to run by tomorrow. And we've already got our next project. Do what?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. You have stuff queued up for it already?
Yep, I already got like the next 3 things ready. So, well, the next 2 are ready for sure, and after that, I've just got to tweak some stuff. Watched a ton of Game of Thrones. I think I'm in season 5 now.
Jeez.
Kelly hopped on board in like maybe season 3, and maybe season 3 or 4. I don't remember where exactly, but. She's picked it up pretty quick. I've had to stop and explain stuff, obviously, but not a torturous amount that I was afraid it would be. But lots of ideas for what I'm building from watching that show. So,
right.
And like I'd said, I've heard of a lot of things that happen. It's just the anticipation where they get there is fun to me still. Of course, so many things have been, not necessarily spoiled, but me not being queued up to it and it being part of popular culture. So
right.
You're not Game of Thrones like merch, is there? Like figures and statues wise, right?
I think Funko had the license and made some figures. They're not bad. They're not great. There are some nice 6-scale stuff out there that honestly I never paid attention to because I didn't know who anybody really was, but. What's it? Is it maybe Star Ace? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that company. They have some licenses. It's another company outside Hot Toys that does 6-scale. Pretty decent.
Oh, maybe. What have they done?
Star Ace also had the Harry Potter license at one point.
Oh, okay. All right. I remember seeing those.
See, another franchise that I feel like there's not that much merch. Like with how big Game of Thrones and like Harry Potter is, you'd think there'd be like figures and plushes and fucking statues everywhere, but
I would say Harry Potter specifically. Like that shit has its own fucking theme park.
Yeah. So why is it that they don't have? I don't understand.
Yeah, that is.
There's money they're not picking up.
Maybe it's a demographic market study. Like look, like the fan base, the hardcore fan base of this shit is not buying toys.
Actually, it's 3-0 who makes these. I'm looking through them now. I'm like, wow, these really look good. One more rabbit hole I need. Oh yeah, I need a 6-scale dragon for $1,500. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. I got an antibody test this past week.
Oh, did you?
How's that?
It's a pregnancy test, but with blood. I know that sounds weird, but they prick your finger and you drop the blood in one of 2 little circles, and it is either 1 line or 2 lines, and it came back negative. So. I have not had the COVID,
So they say the one thing to like that because I've been doing some research into that as well. not to say that you haven't, and maybe I'm telling you something you already know. So if so, to the listeners, that test seems to have about 60 to 70% accuracy as well, and it is most reliable. Don't quote me, but I want to say 30 days after your exposure.
Well, yes, they did tell me that there's a window. Like, I mean, I told them, I guess I probably said this, excuse me, on here before. I was in New York in early January. My boss was there too. He stayed in New York with his wife that weekend, and then he took the train down to D.C. I picked him up, and then we traveled together. And at some point during that trip, he got this dry cough and felt really lethargic, went to like a walk-in dock-in-a-box place, and they gave him a flu test, said, well, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with you. Right. But that kind of, like, who knows? But she said if it's been that long, it's possible that, you know, you're not gonna know. So anyways, trying to think anything else of interest. Did I watch anything? We started watching this other, it's a show called, what's the name of it? It's actually got Harry Potter in it. It came on TBS. It's called Miracle Workers. So the first season was apparently like set in an office. The second season is set in a medieval time frame. So
at the restaurant?
At the restaurant.
I don't know. Not at the restaurant. And I haven't seen the first season, so I don't know if these characters act the way they do in the office setting or what, but Kelly found it on, I don't remember where she found it, but we can't find the whole season without paying like $4 an episode or some shit. I'm like,
what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be that,
that's unreasonable.
that entertaining. I know I'm leaving out some stuff. We watched Titan Games. I watched some of that. And watching wrestling, obviously. I watch that every week. And
wrestling to like an empty stand and shit?
Say again?
They're still wrestling? Are they wrestling to an empty stadium?
So most of the shows are like, so WWE has a huge performance center and a basically network of development. So basically the developmental wrestlers they stand in the crowd behind a plexiglass screen. Which I think it took one episode before the wrestlers figured out they could dive onto the plexiglass screen or throw people into it. So, and then there's another company running wrestling, AEW. They run it outside in Tallahassee, outside of the guy who owns that promotion. His family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. So there's basically a restaurant that's got an outside seating area, and they do concerts and shit there. So they've been running there, and they do the same thing. They've started to bring some crowd in, but they make them sit way far away. Like, they don't sit on the floor. They sit in, like, risers, and they have to space them out and stuff. So it's interesting to see that, you know, they're able to do that kind of stuff. Because, like, I know, you know, baseball's having, I don't know if you guys pay attention to this, awful problems.
Well,
are they?
I know they're playing again. And to, like... you know, empty stadiums with like cardboard cutouts and shit.
So I think it was like $80. You could send in your picture and they would put you in the stands or whatever.
Wow,
which I thought was pretty funny.
And
so Korea started playing baseball. Maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. Korean pro baseball is actually a pretty big deal. All the teams, they're not the name of the city is not part of the name. It's the Kia whatever. So they're all sponsored by a corporate entity, and that's the name of the team.
Nice.
So it's like the Kia Tigers or whatever. But the first couple games, one of the teams had filled the entire stadium with stuffed animals.
Sweet.
That's pretty dope. So, yeah, went on had to go to the dump. Oh yeah, I got this story for you. Have you guys ever smelled something so bad that it made you throw up?
Got really close.
Yeah, close, but not
really close.
That happened to me for the first time in my life this past weekend, and it's Maryland related.
All right, let's hear it.
So the process of cleaning, of building this new table and putting it in the machine, we essentially had to.
You were in Glen Burnie. Continue.
I was not. I was still in Carroll County. The process of cleaning out the shop is, I cut bait on a lot of shit. Just, either if it was a tool that I'd bought that didn't really work good, or if it was, this half-finished project that I probably would never, my interests have changed since then. Well, a ton of shit. 2 carloads of stuff I've taken to the dump. Kelly's SUV full. So me and Mason take the first one. I don't remember what day this week it was. Back up to the dump there, and it's normally pretty easy to get in and out of this place. So just for people that, globally speaking, where I live, I don't have county or city trash pickup. I pay a certain amount a month for them to come, and with COVID going on, if it's not in the can, they don't touch it. So in the past, I could put like a black plastic bag by my cans, and they would take it. Well, they don't do that right now. So obviously, with what I do, I generate a lot of foam that I can't use anymore. I kind of started to feel bad about it. I think I'm going to fill up the entire landfill with pink foam. So we go there. We have pink foam. We have some other stuff. We start to unload. We back up to the spot. And I'd had a mask on just because if I'm outside, if I'm near people, I'll put a mask on.
Yeah.
And
consider it.
We open the doors and get out, and don't even open the lift gate to the truck. Somebody had, Bobby, let's just say you had Crab Fest and you dumped all of the trash. Not in the giant dumpsters that are right there for you, but in front of it. And it had been there for a couple days.
In close proximity.
And there were so many. And the oh my God.
Yeah, that crab,
I almost threw up with a mask on.
That crab smell, different.
Oh, I told Kelly, I said, we're not eating anything that came out of the ocean until I mean, like right now my stomach is cramping thinking about this. And I've never in my life smelled something so bad. So, but, and the thing was, this was early, because we went, this is of course G.I. Joe related. Target supposedly was going to have stuff Saturday, and they really didn't. But I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's get up, go to the dump, or go to Target, go to the dump, and then do a couple other errands and then go home. So this was at like 8:30 in the morning. Could you imagine what that smelled like at 2 o'clock?
In the hot sun?
Oh my God. So I had to go back to the dump Monday for another load, and I was like, where was that? Okay, don't go near that. But that shit was still like there.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was...
Yeah, it's funny, like usually like, but crabs have been kind of shitty this year, they say, like not up to normal standard. It's like they got COVID too, but like they
there's not enough pollution in the water to pump them up.
Probably, but like that's the Lighthouse Seafood Market that like sits between our houses. Yeah. They put something up on their website that I like super respect, where they were like, look, we've got them. They're super expensive this year, and they're not great. Like if you want them, you can have them, but they're pricey and they suck.
Wow.
On them.
Yeah. I fuck with that too. But I was saying all that to say this. Usually during the summer, if you like take from us taking our walks or whatever, like you can walk through, a cul-de-sac or what have you, and you can tell who had crabs like the night before, or like especially like it's on trash day, like, oh, okay, well they were partying for sure.
It's rough, man. It is rough, but so of course G.I. Joe has been a complete fiasco for everybody, and I think the G.I. Joe groups may be the worst thing about Facebook right now. The only thing that got people stopped bitching about Cobra Troopers was the Mezco John Wick fiasco. So
I secured 2 Cobra Troopers thanks to Tyler.
Oh, you got 2 of mine. You're welcome.
Oh, really?
Dude, I had him on that mission from day one. Come on. I'll let you have a couple. That's all right. You're good.
Gotcha. Thank you. But that's all I want. Like I don't need to go overboard with troop building this stuff. Like I'm down to logistical space. Everything is kind of bought and paid for, so to speak, at this point. So like I'm gonna double up on a couple troopers here and there, and that's that. But yeah, I'm missing the Baroness. That's the only one I haven't been able to secure.
Yeah, everybody's missing the Baroness.
The only one that really matters.
She, have you seen the new up close images? It's great. Of course, it has like not even single jointed elbows.
Yeah, well, that's the fucking Marvel Legends curse. Like they've been fucking cranking out female Marvel Legends characters now for fucking a decade and can't fucking put a double joint on their elbows.
Right.
What was I going to say about that? Oh, I'm thinking about getting that premium format sideshow Baroness. I was looking at it and I was like, man, that's a really good fucking Baroness.
Yeah, that's a fucking good looking one.
Yeah. Anyway, I go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
That's all I can think of right now. I'm sure there's other stuff, but it's just a very hectic, busy week for me with a lot going on, and work stuff and other life stuff, and anyways,
hate to hear
go
it.
ahead. Yeah.
I'm gonna continue with the 6 Degrees of Harry Potter, and tell you guys that I watched a show this week, binged it, you might say. You know, as close to Skullfaces get to binging, so like 2 episodes a night for 3 nights. It was called The Servant, and it was on. Oh, thank you. And it was on Apple TV. It's their. I think their launch show, like their flagship
stuff.
What'd you say?
I didn't even know they were making shows now.
Yeah, I didn't either. They have a movie too, so I think they launched this show and this movie in concert. The show is done by M. Night Shyamalan. And yeah, and the movie is starring Tom Hanks. It's called Greyhound. I think it's like a
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they launched.
Familiar with it?
Okay. So I watched The Servant. It's just 1 season of many more to come. It seems like. So I'm going to refrain from judgment. But let me tell you something. It was HBO quality in terms of its cinematography.
Okay.
Which is a big deal for me. Like
I know that Apple's been getting some kudos for their production quality.
Dude, it presents like a movie. Like that's one of my issues I have with Netflix is like a lot of that shit. So speaking of which, I'm also 6 episodes into Lock and Key, the Netflix show based on the comic.
Yeah,
it's not good, and it's not. And I hate to say it because my kid is like Jane is super into it.
Well, maybe you're not the target audience.
Well, I may not be, and I didn't think.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish, Bobby. You're probably gonna mention this too. I watched all that Transformers show. That's the other thing.
I saw your review on it.
Yeah, well, let's get into that at some point.
Yeah,
but
just want to get it out before I forgot.
Well, no, I appreciate you reminding me because I would have fucking forgot. But anyway,
are you saying it's forgettable?
Possibly. So this Lock and Key is like the production value is like it just seems like something made for TV. And the acting is very WB. The whole vibe of it is not great.
I'm seriously thinking this is meant for teenagers, though, the way you're describing it.
Maybe.
Like it's Netflix WB.
Yeah. But I would say this about most Netflix shows I've seen. Like, most Netflix shows seem like TV production quality to me. Whereas, like, HBO seems like movie production quality. And this Servant thing on Apple TV, which I'm hot and cold on. Like, I don't think it's great, but it was definitely worth watching and interesting. There's some it's obviously a mystery because of who's involved, but they haven't really exposed all of the mystery yet. But there's a cult involved, Joe.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you would like it a lot, Joe, for what it's worth. Anyway, it was worth watching. I have some theories on it, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the right place to get into that or not. What else? So let's go into the Transformers thing. Did you watch it, Joe?
No, I have not yet.
Okay, what'd you think, Chris?
I don't know if I'm going to.
Okay.
I thought it was good. I mean, it was better than I expected it to be. It was horribly predictable. Are we doing spoiler free on this?
No, go for it.
Okay, the Bumblebee angle I was not expecting. I thought it was a refreshing take on the character.
Me too.
Him being kind of a mercenary for hire kind of person. I appreciate the animation style. It reminded me somewhat of and I don't know if it's the same studios at all, but the way the texturing was done, it reminded me a lot of Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Kelly pointed that out.
The animation is what's making me like not sure about watching it.
What was that?
The animation is what's like keeping me from diving right into it because of like I don't know. I just don't like those models.
So let me step in there because you're both right. I feel like Joe, yes, the models suck. However, Chris is also right where like the atmosphere stuff and the background templates and stuff are done really well.
Yeah,
like all the dust and dirt and shit in the air. All that's and the nice thing about it is a lot of it covers up the designs.
I didn't look on purpose.
Right.
I mean, I really liked they did a ton of weathering. I mean, and yeah, if you remember, these Siege figures had a lot of weathering on them when they came out, but
Space mud?
like what?
Space mud?
Space mud.
It's space mud, but like, when they do up close Optimus, the red paint on his chest, it looks like it's 100 years of red that has been worn down and maybe touched up and worn down again. It was so much like layering into the detail. It could have used a white dry brush, but other than that,
what couldn't?
What
couldn't use a white dry brush?
No, I said it could.
I know. Yeah. I'm saying what couldn't.
Everything could.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I white dry brush my freaking waffles in the morning.
Oh,
makes me feel better about eating them. But saying that to say, I mean, they did a good job, I think, of using the characters nobody gave a shit about. Like, they gave Sound Blaster an actual character and told a little backstory of, don't mention anything about him being a clone. He's real sad, but he sounded completely different. And they used the the little bolt-on people as actual characters, and then they used them as army builders later. They used the reflector guys, or refractor, whatever they call it, as the Cobra, Jesus, the Decepticon army builder kind of people, random dudes. I don't know. I think they took some risks from the G1 story arc that was refreshing. I'll tell you something funny. I was watching it with Charlie, and he's like, I can't watch this anymore, Dad. I don't like their lips.
Oh, my God.
Well, Megatron's got these big old honking lips. Like, what's her name from the GoBot?
Crasher. When from the get-go.
Yeah, I will say, the one thing I didn't mention in the review that people mentioned in the comments that I agreed with was like a lot of the dialogue and the way that Prime spoke, not his voice, not like the tone of his voice, but like the way he talked with the pause between each sort of rhythm of his sentence did fucking, like, come on, get it out, spit it out, fucking, you fucking idiot.
You fucking Shatnered it?
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, that bothered me. Some of the dialogue was like very surfacey.
He's an old man.
Yeah, but I too enjoyed it. Like, overall, like, I think it's a step in the right direction. I also think that a lot of the shit in there isn't earned, and I would have much rather seen the beginning of the war as opposed to the end of the war. But I mean, that's not the decision they chose. So based on what they chose, I think it's fine. And it has the potential to be something better.
Kelly was. I'm not gonna say she was watching it. She was in the room while it was on the last episode. An Omega Supreme bike comes up, and she's like, "Holy shit, that's a big robot."
But yeah, no, I think it was all right. I'm interested. Like, I'll watch the next two. You know what I mean? I have, like, it's far from
absolutely.
Like, yeah.
They already announced more?
Well, it's a trilogy. It's called the trilogy.
So it'll be Siege, it'll be Earthrise, and then I think Kingdom is the third one, maybe, which is going to be Beast Wars-ish.
Oh, that makes sense.
Forgot how to
Animal Kingdom. I see what they did there.
Yeah. I was involved in a conversation in a chat that this is worth sharing. I don't know if you've seen it. Some company, I think it's 3A, 30, whatever. They're doing like $200 non-transformable versions of Optimus and Megatron from this series. And somebody said, I'm trying to remember how they said. They said, "Well, sorry, I don't need masterpiece versions of these characters." And then the response from someone, and it blew my mind, was, "Well, actually, what's in the stores at Walmart is your masterpiece because it's the most screen accurate thing you'll ever get."
Yeah.
Because they're the models.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, if this shit spoke to children at all, they'd have their. I mean, imagine that just from a worldview, like where you go to the store and it looks just like the fucking cartoon. I can't imagine such a day with Transformers. As from when we were kids, anyway. It was like I was like, this is who? Jetfire? No, it's not. Clearly, it's not.
And I thought the arc they did with him, wow, although super predictable by anybody who knows anything about these characters, was well done.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I liked him as a Decepticon. Don't get me wrong, and I liked him as an Autobot. But I do feel like his turn, it might be it might have topped Anakin's turn as the most kind of rapid, and I didn't totally buy it, turn of all time.
Well, I mean, there were seeds along the way.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, even. But I think at the same time, you were looking for those seeds because you're like, let me see how this is going to play out.
I think that like the G1 turn, I was like, it was more believable because he was a scientist, like didn't really know what was going on.
Right.
You know,
yeah, it was rapid. It was like flip and then flip.
Right. Anyway, let me say what else happened this week because I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, the live action movies.
Yes.
Cool.
Are you too big of a coward to watch the third one?
Yes. Yes.
That's completely acceptable in today's culture.
So a couple interesting things. I also watched Adventures in Babysitting. I'm tying this all together. Gay jokes in 2 out of 3 of these movies. Just something that I was like, that wouldn't happen now.
Does it make fun of gay people?
So in Turtles, in the original Turtles, Donatello calls Casey Jones claustrophobic. And Casey Jones says, I never even looked at another dude.
I remember that.
Dude, it's funny as shit. Like, that movie is still really fucking good. Like, I was watching it and I was just sitting there like, holy shit, like this still really does stand up. There's one part of it that I'm like, it's kind of like cringy to me. It's when Casey Jones hits Tatsuo with the golf club and Tatsuo goes like flying through the air. Mm-hmm. But like aside from that, like most of it is pretty believable.
The turtle part.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you buy into the fact that giant fucking turtles and a giant rat are living in the sewer, you know, but like the like, I was thinking about it, like, is it the best cartoon to film translation ever made?
Ooh, that's it's close if it's not.
I'm trying to think what other ones are there.
G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man.
Oh well, Jim and the.
Yep, Jim and the Holograms.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some others that we're leaving out.
I don't think any of that shit stands up to this. Like, it's really fucking well done, and there's real heart in it, and there's real fucking soul in it, and like, as long as you're okay with the concept, I think it plays out just fine. You know. So yeah, so there's that joke in there, and then in Adventures in Babysitting, did you guys ever see that?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So the youngest girl of the family, if you remember, she has like a Thor obsession, right?
Yes.
And Thor is the guy who she thinks is Thor in the movie is Vincent D'Onofrio, which kind of fucked my head up. I was like, holy shit, is that Vincent D'Onofrio? Yep, sure was. He anyway, when she's like drawing Thor, she stole her brother's Clearasil in order to paint it. She used it as paint. And the brother's super upset about it because the babysitter's coming over who he has a crush on. He wants to hide his pimples. And she's like, well, I need, and she's like, well, I needed this. I needed the color. And he's like, to color another Thor? Another Thor? Thor's a homo. And she's like, take it back. And he's like, starts screaming like, no, Thor's a homo, like over and over again. Then they meet this long blonde haired dude like that's Vincent D'Onofrio that she thinks is Thor, and he's like jacked or whatever. And she's like, Thor, my brother said you're a homo. And like Vincent D'Onofrio grabs the dude by his like collar and is like, you spreading rumors about me. But like that shit wouldn't, you know what I mean? That shit, like, it just goes to show how culture and society has changed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that being like shit like that being normal.
Yeah, for sure. But to see it, but I'll tell you that claustrophobic joke is still pretty funny. Like I feel like it still lands. But yeah, a lot of jokes in that fucking movie still work for me. You know, like a lot of the turtle jokes and shit, and I don't know, the whole basis of like the Foot Clan being like this like secret kind of like underground organization that's recruiting kids off the street that feel like they have nowhere. You know, like that shit.
That works.
Yeah, it fucking works. It makes far more sense than the cartoon, which I also watched this week. I watched season 1 and the first arc or two of season 2. Now, that doesn't hold up as well. However, you know what it reminded me of like all those 80s cartoons? How like all of the fucking pilot episode arcs were done like in Korea or Japan. Mm-hmm. And they look so much better than by the time they get cleared for the second season as everything's done in the West. or it's still done in Japan but with like half the fucking budget. You know, it's so funny.
I mean, it's the same with like all the 80s cartoon. Like, if you look at the fucking quality of the intro versus the actual show itself.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so fucking amazing if the show looked like the intro.
Agreed. That fucking, like, the More Than Meets the Eye arc, you know, of Transformers looks so much better than the rest of season 1, maybe with the exception of Heavy Metal War. And then watching this Turtle episodes, like the first episode where like they turn Bebop and all that, and like there's like intense kind of shading on like some of the turtles and shit, like real rendering and all of it. By the time you get to season 2, it's just fucking paint by numbers.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I'm trying to think if I feel like I watched or did something else, but it is not coming to me, so to speak. So I'll skip it for now. All right. Let's get into some news. Breakfast will never be the same. Wilford Brimley dies of probably.
Please tell me you were going to say he was going to die. He died.
So let me tell you something. I almost said it, and then I was like, it's too soon. But he has died. He has passed away at his home in Utah, and he says he's been on dialysis and he's been sick for a couple days and that. I mean, was he in Cocoon?
He was, and somebody posted Paul Rudd is now the same age that Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon. Look at the way those people look.
Wow.
Well, Paul Rudd is like known to be immortal.
Yeah.
So
you know him, you think he was Asian?
Yeah, he's got you beat. He never develops the Shang Tsung stash. Moving on, Kids and Cigars. Am I right? Did you guys watch the trailer for Pinocchio that dropped this week?
No.
Did not know that existed.
It looks pretty good. It looks like almost Tim Burton-esque, a live action. But a couple things about it. One, I wonder if they'll show a whole bunch of kids smoking cigars, because I can't imagine that they will.
No, I can't.
And that's I think that's the only really talking point I have. The other talking point I have is that, did you see that fucking Super 7 got the license for Disney and they're like making Disney action figures?
Like
yes.
Donald Duck action figures?
Yeah. You saw it, Chris?
Yeah, I did. Shout out to C. Jism, his wife. They did the soft goods for all those.
Correct.
And Four Horsemen sculptures. So
they got
Mickey from Fantasia. I don't remember the other.
Prince John from Robin Hood.
Yeah, it's a random assortment of characters.
And Pinocchio.
Yes.
And I think they were handpicked like by the Super 7 folks. But I think I'm getting the Prince John.
Oh, you love that fucking Robin.
Fucking love that shit. I think I'm getting that shit. I'll find someplace dumb to put it.
Yeah, like next to Song of Stuff.
Yeah. And then the only other note we have in here is something worth watching. Could be. I haven't watched it, but it's a documentary of a Todd McFarlane documentary that was on Sci-Fi. It's on YouTube now.
Yeah, I've almost watched that like 4 times. I just can't bring myself to.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it
for the fucking spectacle. I feel like it would be a spectacle.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you what, he's got to take some responsibility for how bad this fucking Mortal Kombat figures look. God bless.
That Batman line's getting a lot of love now. I say Batman line because that's what it's become. The DC line.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I'm not overly impressed with them either. They're fine. But yeah, but you know what? NECA always gets a lot of love too. So like sometimes maybe all you need is for it to be affordable and look good.
Yeah, maybe.
That's how you're going to capture the most audience anyway. So
yeah.
I'm actually speaking. I'll tie your NECA back to turtles. I've ran into some of these NECA sets here and there that are hard to find at retail, and I picked up the Casey Jones and Flasher Raff for a couple people, and they're really well done. I mean, they look great in the package. I don't know what happens when you unleash them.
Yeah, they're normal NECA shit. They're built like shit. They're fucking like they're painted all over the joints and hard to move and everything else. but they look beautiful. They look fucking perfect.
They look great. Yeah, I guess if you're not trying to do a million things with them, posing them and whatnot, you'd probably be all right.
Yeah, I have the only ones I'm missing. Cause shout out to Frank H.
I didn't know you were looking for any of that 6-inch shit.
Yeah, so the only ones I'm missing are the April. Have you seen that one in your travels?
Hang on, are you doing the movie stuff or the cartoon?
Cartoon.
Didn't know you were looking for it. The only one I found was Casey and the halved
foot soldier.
Foot robot, yeah.
So there's a April and a halved foot soldier as well. I'm in the market for that, and also Slash and Leatherhead.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that shit.
Those are the.
I did ask about NECA at a Target I was at.
Uh-huh.
And the electronics manager said they hadn't seen the rep in months, and they're the only ones that are allowed to touch it. It's in a locked case in the back.
Wow.
I said, how you get the NECA rep job? He said, well, it's the same guy the guy that is supposed to come do my movies, but I haven't seen him in months, so. Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? There's some.
It is.
That's a behind the scenes talk I would love to be privy to. Is what is going on with Target and NECA and.
Well. So you did see that NECA is like the Toka and Razor 2-pack. You have to buy from them.
Yes.
And they're pre-ordering it and making it to order.
Yes.
Which the thing I'd love to be privy to is what the hell is this licensing deal? Because look, you've got Playmates has the turtle license for the toy aisle. NECA has the turtle license for the collectibles departments at 2 stores, plus their online presence. And then you've also got Super 7 doing them that are, I don't know, another super collectible thing. So I don't know how all this licensing is working for them.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's I guess there's obviously a difference between the films and the cartoon, because it feels like they have more leeway with the film stuff. Like, some of it's been SDCC, some of it's been, on BBTS, some of it's, you know what I mean? Like, whereas with the cartoon shit, it's like, nope, that shit goes in Target, in the fucking, electronics department, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I think part of this, Randy from NECA, who runs their Twitter, had said, hey, we understand, because the whole bots thing that's happening with the G.I. Joe shit is happening with the NECA shit too.
Correct.
It's gone. I mean, nobody has a realistic chance to buy this stuff. So, they're looking to maybe change the way they do it. I don't know how that works with their licensing. That was my only.
Yeah, and you still don't see them put up the fucking the cartoon turtle stuff on their platform. Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean, as of yet, you have not seen it. That's correct.
But like the comic book shit and the live action stuff, they seem to have a little bit more leeway with.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I'm in the market. I'm in the market for those two packs. Let's see. Then we have some questions. One was from Paul C. He said 3 related questions. What television shows would you say defined your childhood? Can you come up with any shows that defined further phases past childhood of your lives? You can start adding video games here too if you'd like. Are there any show? All right, so let's answer that one first. What television shows would you say defined your childhood?
When did your childhood end?
Let's say 13.
Okay.
For me, it was obviously Transformers, G.I. Joe, Turtles, maybe He-Man, but not really. So I'm taking He-Man off because not really. And then I would say The Cosby Show. and that's probably it. Those 4 shows.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, mine's obviously, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Christian Bobby, I'm a little long with tooth, so He-Man came a little earlier for me.
That's true.
Let's see, what else? Well, the Cosby Show, I didn't think about that. I'm trying to think time-wise. Man, that's tough.
I used to watch that shit all the time and just wish that my family was like that. Like they seem to like.
Little did you know.
They say, yeah, little did I know for sure. But they seem to like really love each other and care about it. Everybody's learning valuable lessons. Like I was like, man, this fucking house is awesome. They have 2 staircases, which was fucking awesome.
That went to nowhere.
Yeah.
Gundam, all the Gundams. Fucking Dragon Ball. Fucking Saved by the Bell.
See, I don't know what year Saved by the Bell came out. That's what. Like, I watched Saved by the Bell. I guess I was
like they were kids, and then like through high school.
Let me watch Saved by the Bell. I'll tell you real quick while I'm looking this up. Another thing I watched this week for my Nerd Week was this documentary on David Foster, who's like a music producer. He's done like huge records, like I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, and like just like that type of music.
Right.
Anyway, he's got like a fucking 1,000. He's like the old dirty bastard of the music industry. He's got like 1,000 kids, by like 1,000 different baby moms, and but he's an asshole. Like listening to him talk about him, he's like, yeah, look, I did the best I could. My job was very important to me, and I loved a lot of women. So I hope they turned out okay. Hope they fucking get their shit together. Like just heartless about it. Anyway, it was 89. Original release was August 20th, 1989 for Saved by the Bell, and it ran for 4 seasons. That would have been. Yeah, that would have been me then.
Yeah, I Batman animated series. That's in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's you know what? I like honestly, I would have to probably put X-Men in before Batman.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was cool when I watched it today, but X-Men was like on the weekends. I didn't think about the X-Men for sure.
Right. So here's the other part. He says, Are there any shows that you can say have defined your current phase in life, or has binge culture and streaming kind of ended this phenomenon? And then he says, when trying to come up with an answer for himself to the last question, he found that he had consumed so many different shows that their individual impacts were lessened. I think that's probably accurate. I wouldn't say that any shows had defined this era, but I would say that there's been like some movies that have kind of defined, different eras of my adult life. But I don't think shows so much. I think that like there was that era where like HBO was like everything they touched was fucking great. Like when they had like Curb Your Enthusiasm was on, Sopranos was on, Sex and the City was on, Oz was on. Like every fucking show they had was fucking like cleaning up, and like that era defines like my early 20s. I don't know about too much else though, to be honest. You guys?
Just anime in general, but like of course Gurren Lagann, like ever since I watched that, has everyday thought in my life.
That's I don't know. The Sopranos. Back when it was out, I watched that religiously, and that was I don't say it was an influence in my life. Hopefully not.
Right.
I don't know. Most of the shows I watch involve horrible people.
Yeah.
I can't really say anything's influenced me a whole lot. As far as a TV show goes.
And then I think we had one more question, at the very least. I did talk to Raul a bit this week.
Oh, how'd that go?
It went well, but he had said that that he would love to see us do a regular collectors episode again. So I don't know if you guys would be up for that, but maybe next week, if the news has been so light recently, we'd have a conversation more in line with something there.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
This is from Michael T. Maryland guy, by the way. He said, "What's up, NRR team? Summer is here, and I'm bummed there are no summer blockbusters to go see. So I thought I would ask all of you about your movie-going experiences. What was the best movie-going experience you ever had, and what was your worst?" This is a two-part question after that. So, I think like when I think about like the ones I remember the most, Dark Knight in the theater will have like a special memory for me. It was Adam, myself, and my sister-in-law that went and saw that, and like we went and got dinner afterwards and just talked about it for like an hour. Like the kind of like amazement of walking out of that theater, like what the fuck did we just see? That's going to change things forever. And the other one would be probably episode 1, like the hype surrounding it, and like there was probably 50 of us that went to go see it. We took up like 2 rows at the movie theater. After it, like a buddy of mine just passed out. Yeah, and what's funny? It wasn't even like a big fan. It's the dude Shane. This basement is stupid, dude. Like we were just standing out next to my car. Everybody was talking about it. We're smoking and drinking and carrying on. And he just looked over at us and just passed out, just fell out. And like we had to pick. Crazy. Yeah, we had to pick him up. We got him in my car. We drove him back to his house and all that shit. I talked to him like the next day, and he was like, "Yeah, dude." He was like, "Dude, the effects were just too real."
That's funny.
But yeah, like those two movie experiences, definitely stand out. And then the worst ones, I remember I saw Adam and I saw Aquaman. We were like in the front row. That sucked. And I've almost gotten into like a lot of conflicts at movie theaters and all this sort of stick out to me as negative movie experiences. I remember when I was a kid, I saw Oliver and Company in the movie theater. There was a fucking kid behind me that kicked my seat the entire time. But I was like in 5th grade, and this dude was like 17, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna kick my ass. I'm not gonna say shit." But he kicked my chair like the entire fucking movie.
On purpose, or just like as a thing that he does?
It's like a thing that he does.
Yeah, so he wasn't trying to fuck you.
Correct.
Like fucking you.
So that one stands out to me too. What about you guys?
Episode 1 for me too. Like I was in military boarding school at the time, and like we can't leave, right? You just fucking stay there. But one of our like supervisor adults like into Star Wars, and he got several of us permission, and we all went. We got to leave, and like on a weeknight, and he took us like in the car, like 6 or 7 of us jammed into his fucking car, and we went, and it was fucking great. So like it was very memorable. And the other one is The Mummy, the first movie when I was in high school. First time getting intimate with a girl.
Oh, you slick fucker.
I was like, and I remember exactly what happened. Like, I remember exactly what scene. Because to this day, when I watch The Mummy, when that scene comes up, I'm like, that's when she started making out with me. It's right when he was waking up. And actually, the scary part. That was a jump scare part, and I missed it.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
What about terrible experiences?
I don't. All of them? No, I don't know. I don't have a particularly bad one. I like visually wise, like just like a comfort level. We got free tickets to go to. Me and my pops went to watch. We hardly watch movies anymore, at least nowadays anyway. To Captain America, the first Avenger. But by the time we got there, because like the theater was sold. Booked out by this place that gave us tickets, but we didn't get there super early, so by the time we got there, like we were sitting very far up front and separate. But like I still can't say it was bad because like it wasn't the most comfortable thing, but like I enjoyed that me and my dad had an outing.
Right, for sure. I hate seeing movies with my dad too. Anytime I've ever gone to a movie theater with my dad as an adult, I've fucking been 100% miserable. My dad is a loud eater. So like,
and you are extra sensitive to mouth noises.
Correct. So he gets like a thing of popcorn and he fucking chomps away at that for like the first 45 minutes of the movie, and then the back 45 minutes of the movie he's picking kernels out of his teeth like the entire fucking time. Like I can't. Sometimes I had to put up my right hand like on my eye to like not fucking see him like toiling away at his fucking teeth, like. For fucking 45 minutes to an hour, dude. It's fucking obnoxious.
I can't believe you've gone with him multiple times, knowing how much you hate that.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. I think sometimes I've done it because it means more to me than it does to him. You know, I've been like, look, let's go see Star Wars. Star Wars is back. You know, and he's like, all right. And then we go see it, and he's like, yeah, I like that. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah.
I'm like, man, did I waste my fucking time? Am I chasing something that's not fucking real anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like, parents can. I mean, like. I don't know. That's a conversation we don't have time for. Well, maybe we can zero back to it after Chris goes, because Chris got to jump up off here soon. But Chris, answer the question, please. I'm sorry.
I have a couple fond memories, and one of them involves my dad. I remember my mom had gone somewhere. This was well, the movie was Flight of the Navigator. I'll tell you how long ago it was.
Wow.
And I'm trying to remember what the situation was. Basically, he said he'd take us to the movies this particular day, which was not something he ever did. I mean, my dad's kind of like me. He gets up and gets working, and, you know, it doesn't stop till dinner. But middle of the day, I remember it was hot as hell. And me and my brother were trying to decide between the Goonies and Flight of the Navigator, and we went saw Flight of the Navigator with my dad. And it was just... I can't say that it happened very often. I do remember wanting to go see Gremlins, something awful as a child. And my parents were like, oh, it's going to be scary. You're not going to like it, blah, blah, blah. Please, please, please. Everybody's going. And finally they relented and we all went as a family. So, yeah. Aw. Yeah.
It was a special moment with the Gremlins, man.
And then me and my wife's first date, we went and saw The Ringer. Starring Johnny Knoxville as faking being a Special Olympics contestant.
That's a good question. What was the first movie you saw in the theater with your significant or your wife, Joe?
Don't Mess with a Zohan.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I thought I had the worst one, but maybe not. Bobby, how about you?
A Time to Kill. Samuel L. Jackson and...
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Yep. That was.
I enjoyed it. Like, we like dumb, stupid, funny movie.
Yeah, that was the first
one.
We
went to a chicken compare afterwards.
And then what about super negative experience, Chris?
Well, I saw a movie one time with this guy, and it was hardly anybody in the theater, but he went like 4 seats over and kind of told this guy off in front of his girl.
That was a great fucking movie, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't have anything I can think of that's just a super. It probably involves. I'll actually give you one. It was Semi-Pro, starring Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell.
As they say in France.
So, basically, we had gone, like the movie theater we'd like to go to had an upstairs with a balcony that was just adults. You had to be 21. It had there was a bar up there, and then you could bring food in. Super nice leather recliners. So we're like, yeah, we're gonna go up here, and we don't have to get bothered by kids or anything. We found out what's worse than kids: drunk 40-something-year-old women in a movie theater are way more obnoxious than kids kicking your seat.
Yeah, I can believe it.
So, and with that.
Well, Chris, with 3 minutes left on the clock, let me ask you.
Okay, well, I have to log into this shit first.
Two rapid fires. What's the movie you saw most in the theater?
Say again?
What's the movie you saw most in the theater?
Episode 1, probably.
And did you ever walk out of a movie?
No, I've never walked out of a movie.
All right, catch you next week.
All right, tasty taint.
I'll cut it in. I won't. So, Joe.
Yep.
What movie did you see most in the theater?
I can't. I don't know. Because I'm not a multiple movie theater watching person. Because I'm not a huge fan of the theater. But I did watch Days of Future Past twice. So I specifically remember that.
Okay.
I know I watched Matrix multiple times too, but I don't remember how many times. And that was a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
Days of Future Past was the last one that I watched multiple times.
And have you ever walked out?
I don't think so. Like I can't remember. we walked out of Return of the King not because the movie was bad, but because of like a situation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember.
What was the situation?
I don't remember. It was with an ex-girlfriend. She had something going on or other.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I remember having gotten close. The feeling of like this sucks. I've gotten close to walking out, but like never actually have. That's
Same.
that I remember.
Same.
It's like I'm always fucking there, you know. Especially I would have not gone alone, so I'm already with somebody. So.
Yeah, the movie that I went and saw the most was Phantom Menace. I saw it 12 times in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah, and the movie that I saw second.
Time and money.
Huh?
There's a lot of time and money, effort.
Yeah, it's a fact. So I told you, like, my buddy Mario and I, like I used to go to his house. It's so funny, man. So I used to take this. I was in college. I used to take this class called Drugs and Alcohol. At like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was over by 10:30, and at Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I would go right over to Mario's house. He was across the street, and then I would bring a fifth and start drinking a fifth at like 10 o'clock in the morning or 10:30 in the morning, whatever it was. And then by around lunchtime, you know, when he was like, you know, getting out of bed and everything, I'd be like, "What do you want to do?" And like, "I don't know. You want to go see Star Wars?" And we would just go see Star Wars like all the time. So that's how I got the number up to 12. And then the second one was Dark Knight. I saw that 8 times, I think, in the theater, which was gonna give episode 1 a run for its money. And it's interesting because those are 2 of the ones that I've mentioned as some of my most memorable ones also.
Yeah. Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah. As far as like the what was it? How was that shit worded? I want to make sure that I answer it properly. Oh yeah, what was you've been so bad that you've actually walked out? So I've never walked out because I'm that guy that's like, no, I spent my money. I'm going to get all hour and 45 minutes of it, or 2 hours these days. But the movies that have gotten me very close to walking out was Joe vs. the Volcano. I saw that. I was a big Tom Hanks kid. I mean, a fan as a kid, and I almost walked out during that. What the fuck else? There was another one. Last Night, Transformers: The Last Night. That was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, and I got really close to walking out.
You were with your kid at that one, no, weren't you?
Yeah, no, I don't think for that one, because my kids had stopped giving a fuck about Transformers by that point, because they saw Age of Extinction, which is what killed it.
Oh, yeah. No. I get the titles mixed up.
Oh, I gotcha. Understandable.
Oh, no. Last night was me and you and Adam went, and we were all like,
yeah, we just couldn't.
And we're like, does this keep going?
Yeah, it just went on and on, just more mayhem, more bots. Like, it was just a fucking complete disaster. Let's see what else. There was another one that I remember as a kid. Like my dad hated sequels. So he like would hate to take you to the theater to like see a sequel. Oh, they're just going to tell you the same story again. I already paid for it once. Like that was so I'll never forget that like Back to the Future 2 was out and I wanted to see it so fucking bad. And he picked me up from my mom's house and he's like, "We're going to go see a movie tonight." And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, Back to the Future, right?" And he's like, "Nope." And I was like, "What are we going to go see?" And we went and saw Batteries Not Included. I was like, "This fucking thing sucks."
I enjoyed that. One of the little UFOs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I would have to watch it again now, but like I fucking hated that shit as a kid. I was like, this fucking thing is dumb.
It's probably because you wanted to watch the other one.
Correct, probably.
Yeah. Like, I'm enjoying it as far as I remember.
Yeah, I think it's remembered fondly generally, but I was not enthused. And then we went and saw Back to the Future. I think. And then we went and saw Back to the Future a couple weeks later, and I remember saying like, "See, it was nothing like the fucking first one." He's like, "Yeah." Let's see what else. I was going to say about other movie experiences. You ever sneak into a movie?
I don't think so.
I snuck in. I snuck into one movie because at Palace 9 you had to be 17 to buy R-rated tickets.
Yeah.
But they were kind of wishy-washy on it. You know what I mean? So like if fucking Joe, so to speak, was working, he'd hook you up. But if fucking Karen would ID you, and
yeah. I mean, I really remember getting into R movies when I was
correct. So one time,
like sneaking movie like for free, like like just sneaking in.
So I I gotcha. So I snuck into 2 movies. I snuck in to see Pocahontas.
That's the one you snuck in to see.
Now let me explain myself because it was sold out. and it was for a girl.
Oh yeah, for a girl, anything for a girl.
Correct. And the other movie I snuck into was because it was rated R, and that was The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood.
I don't think I watched that.
So you remember it though, right?
Huh?
You remember it though, right?
I remember it. I know the name, and I'm like, I can't picture it.
So I snuck into that, but guess what? Guess what movie I bought tickets for that I snuck into Good Son for?
What?
Cool Runnings.
Oh my god, dude, that movie I like. I watched Cool Runnings multiple times with this guy.
Ironically, I've never seen it.
You never seen Cool Runnings?
Nope.
Oh man,
Nope.
the fucking Jamaican bobsledding team, bro.
I know, but I don't like sports, and I'm not crazy about reggae either, so I just skipped it.
Me too, man. You know I'm not into sports, but that is a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, anyway. Yeah, I mean, there were days where like we would, it had nothing to do. You would go to a theater like early, and then you would just fucking go to the next movie after you're done with the first one, and you just never.
Yeah, so I never did that. I remember that hustle. I remember kids doing that shit all the time, but I never did it. I used to, because I was like ready to get out and about after, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I don't want to get cooped up in here all fucking day. Let's get out on the streets. But yeah, I'm trying to think about it. So what's the most intimate you ever got in the movie theater?
What do you mean most intimate?
The most.
How far?
Yeah.
A blowjob.
Yeah.
And
me too.
Heavy pettings.
Dude, heavy pettings. What movie was it? You got your blowjob?
The Mummy.
That's right. That
was the first one. And there's been others since, but like that's the memorable one.
I got a blowjob during Rumble in the Bronx.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
And I remember the first time Laura gave me a hand job in the theater. It took for fucking ever. and you want to know what movie it was?
What?
Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Well, you focus on the movie? Is that what it was?
That's a fucking fact. What was it? What was the question?
I thought you were too fucking focused on the movie. Is that what it was?
No. It's just like, we were fucking probably 16 at the time. I was like, just let me do it.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know what you're fucking doing.
A lot of times it's like that anyway with hand jobs.
Yeah, I mean, she's got that shit down now. I'm like, you know what I mean? But she's been practicing for fucking 20-some years.
No, that's something that like often I would start to almost completion and let the other person finish the last 20%, you know?
Yeah, if she worked on cars like she worked on my dick, she'd be put together engines by this point.
Yeah, with the Mummy, like we sat in the back of the theater. It was pretty packed, but like we're like in the back for whatever reason, and yeah.
So I was thinking about that other bit of that conversation. Oh, I had a quarter scale arrive today, by the way.
Oh, nice. Which one?
The Vader one.
Nice.
The Mythos one. I got a pretty good deal on it.
You gonna mention how much it is?
Probably not on this platform.
Okay.
But I got a. I don't know why. I got it for under $1,000.
Nice. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like my definition of a grail, but it is a definition of a grail for you.
Yeah, because I've been chasing it.
A long time. That's hard to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a late tax on it for sure. Like I think it was a $600 statue.
Yep. Expensive to begin with.
Yeah. So So here's something else from our week. I talked to the Magic Case people.
Oh yeah. How's that?
So it's scheduled to ship at the end of August, and then it said dispatch by the end of September. I'm guessing that means arrive at my house.
Leaving from port, I think, like from Los Angeles.
For Los Angeles?
Huh?
For leaving from port?
Yeah, because like they're shipping it, right? Then it's going on a boat into Cali in a port. And then dispatch, I think, is when like it gets separated, the pallet gets separated and gets sent out to individual people.
Oh, really? Why is it going to take a fucking month?
What do you mean?
So if it ships at the end of August,
yeah,
but it doesn't leave Los Angeles to the end of September,
because is on a fucking boat, they don't get it parked right away. Like I don't know how long the boat trip is. It's a while, and it's not like a plane where like you fucking land and then shit gets put on a truck. Like so it's a giant ship. You've seen cargo containers, right?
Yeah,
so like they book however many cargoes they need for all the Magic Cases, along with every fucking thing else that's on there,
right.
And it gets into those. And you've seen those shipping docks that's just full of stacks and stacks of those crates with like one crane that's like sorting through them.
God bless.
And eventually,
hopefully mine's at the front.
Right, and then when you get to that, and then they separated by individuals who ordered, because everyone's orders together, and then from that point, then they can dispatch.
Ugh. I'm never getting this fucking thing. I got Corona before I got my Magic cases.
That's fact.
I was thinking about that other bit of that conversation though, the connecting with your parents. Because that is an interesting one to have. Like, my dad and I definitely connected over Star Wars when I was young.
Yeah,
you know, like he would put together the model kits, and I would paint them, like the little snap tight ones or whatever. And you know, and he'd help me. Like, he'd set up, like, my Death Star was broken, and he'd make little struts to support the weight of my Death Star, and you know, all this shit.
Yep.
And then like now it's like, yeah, well, you know, this and that. I'm like, yeah, all right. You know, it's like, and I've taken them to see, like, I took them to see episode 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8. Never saw 9. Never saw Rogue One or Solo in the theater with him. I saw maybe Man of Steel with him in the theater, but I can't even be 100% sure about that. But it's like, I remember like the last time that we went to the theater together, walking out, I was like, I probably won't do this again because he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't. You know, like he might have never really cared in the first place. It was just
because... dude, you gonna fucking twist that thing again or what?
It's about the parent caring about you.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's
like,
it's
whatever effort you put into learning about WAF, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know?
but to be honest with you, I put very little effort into it also.
I know. I'm saying if you did,
yeah.
She might have grown up and be like, yeah, me and my dad used to just do WAF stuff.
Well, I am watching Lock and Key for her.
Yeah. But you don't care though. That's at the bottom, end of the day, like.
No, but you know what? I'm not gonna fucking lie to her either. You know, like when I watch this thing and if I'm like, this is trash. Like, I already told her about it. Look, 90% of the acting is trash in this fucking show. You know, she's like, really? You know, like, we were having discussions about it, but it's like, at least I won't have to worry. I don't know. I don't know what's worse. You know, setting up the false. Do you care about
Star Wars, or do you just interpret his actions as him caring about Star Wars versus him caring about what you want?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, now.
Did he ever talk about, you know, oh man, remember when Lando did this, or like, did he talk about the movie, or was it just what toy you wanted and how he can do it for you?
No, I mean, we would have just like, he would bring up like, you know, like my dad my dad's like fake deep. Do you know what I mean? Like he tries to get deep every now and then, but every time he tries to get deep, it's like some shit that fucking a 3-year-old's already thought about. You know, my dad's a very like just nuts and bolts guy. He doesn't have time to work out the metaphysics of the universe. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't give a shit. Show me how to turn it on and show me how to fix it if it breaks, and that's pretty much where my dad operates.
Right.
And I remember one time like driving home, he was like, "Bob, I'll tell you, I think that the Force is really a metaphor for religion." I was like, yeah, Dad, I think you're right on the money with that one. You know, but he would bring up those sorts of things.
Yeah. Maybe grew up. Maybe he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. I think that, you know, he was probably like, this is a phenomenon of the time, and you know, it was something for us to watch together, and something that probably fucking chilled me out. You know, because I would have been medicated. There's no doubt in my mind if I was a kid today. You know.
Yeah. And I mean, he still like went, despite how his reactions were when you have gone to the theater as adults, and he still went with you. Yeah.
I mean, I had to kind of, you know, I definitely had to kind of put in some work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird when you have all these connections with your parents as a kid, and then you get older, and you're like, man, what the fuck do we share other than a name?
Yeah, I mean, I mean that's that way with family in general. I think, you know, I think it's more often than not, people don't necessarily share the interest with their family if it's more like niche. If it's not sports, you know, like you can always fucking, you know, catch families watching fucking football games together.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Nerd shit, you know, like it's not often that your parents are into nerd shit.
Yeah, they're kind of lucky that way, I guess. Like the sports fans, like you can see how for the Packers, the Packers are playing.
and it's just traditional. That is the norm, right? Of America. It is the sports connection, and like I know like this lack of sports is like fucking really putting a damper on a lot of people's fucking lives right now.
Yeah, it's probably true.
But yeah, like what? But it's different now for our next generation. Fortunately for them, like we're already nerds. Like a lot of us are nerds. Like you know, nerds is in the popular culture. So like kids growing up will likely have these kind of connections, like Game of Thrones and whatever, with their parents.
Right.
You know, like when Harry Potter and stuff was big when it came out. Like I'm sure the parents at the time remember when they fucking talk about how it's witchcraft and shit.
Yeah.
It's a fucking different fucking generation now, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Dude, I remember like I mean, even like when I went to Christian school, like like and like seeing how much more narrow the dividing line between right and wrong was. I mean, my dad was not a religious dude by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, like, it was like if you steal something, I'm gonna kick your ass because I work hard. You know what I mean? Like, don't fucking lie to me. Like fucking get a job. This is something I heard all the time that I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to when I was young. But that type of shit. But like, he didn't care so much about like entertainment. Like he sheltered me a bit from stuff until I was probably in middle school, and then it was kind of like a free for all.
Yeah, like you listen to fucking all the gangster raps and shit you want.
So that's another interesting thing is that like he didn't really crank down on my music choices. Like, yeah. But like movies and stuff, like I wasn't allowed to watch like rated R movies until like 5th grade.
And that's still pretty young for parents just to be okay.
That's true. But even then, at 5th grade, it wasn't like a free for all with rated R. It was like, okay, this, my dad was a fireman, so like we watched Backdraft, and then as soon as Backdraft like opened up the doors, then it was kind of on and popping.
Right.
Like, my dad fucking took me out of school to watch that movie. That's a fact.
I'm surprised you didn't mention that as
yeah, I guess I should have. Maybe I didn't give a shit about the movies he didn't want me. How's that fucking feel, Dad? Yeah, no, I don't know. But yeah, I remember it because like it came out on a Friday, and my mom had me on the weekends, and she got me Friday evening, and he wanted to take me to see it, like watch what your old man does for a living, and so he took me out of school early, and he was like, and I remember him like because my dad's like not a rule breaker. So I remember him like telling me like, look at the teacher's asked you say we have a family emergency. Like it was all this like bullshit. Like we're gonna fucking end. Nobody gives a shit.
Your dad.
Yeah. But anyway, like as soon as that had kind of opened up, then he had kind of opened up to like the rated R movies and such. But like I remember going to Christian school when I got put out of my middle school, and they were like, I mean, all of a sudden like the video games I played were bad, and the movies I watched. The movies I watched were bad. The fucking everything was fucking satanic. Like the music I listened to was the devil's music, and then the fucking Mortal Kombat was dark sorcery and all that kind of shit. Yeah. And I was really into Bram Stoker's Dracula at the time, and they were like, oh, this demons, demonic, Satan, like all this shit. Like, and I remember thinking like, holy fuck. Before I was just trying to like not break the law. Now I gotta fucking not even watch watch Rugrats with you fucking idiots.
I wonder if that's changed, like in Christian school now, or is it still more of the same?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. I've been out of school for so long. I don't know any parents who have their kids in religious schools. So, like, I wonder if it's like better. It
was rough, man. I got picked on a lot, like kind of like passive aggressively picked on. That they would leave these little like Christian notes all over my locker and book bag and shit. Like when I wasn't around, like as if like I didn't believe and I was going to go to hell, and they were all responsible for saving my soul. But like, playing it through, I remember there was this girl, Rachel, and she was cool as fuck, like the type of girl that you would have as a friend, and she was like, but she used to tell me all the time that like, Dracula was satanic and all this shit. And like, I've carried this shit with me. Do you know what I mean? For fucking decades, and like, yeah, just like this fucking, like, like, cause I mean,
how old were you?
Huh? I mean, I was like fucking 7th grade and 8th grade.
Yeah, that's when I went to Christian school too.
No. 8th grade and 9th grade. 8th grade and 9th grade. Yeah. But like I carry this shit with me. Like I had this fucking chip on my shoulder regarding it all, you know? And she friended me on Facebook like a few years back. And like I saw her put up like some thing of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I was like, you fucking made me feel like I was the fucking worst thing to walk the human earth because I was into this movie. Like you fucking like ridiculed me, and you know I went on this like tirade with her, you know, like, and now you're a fucking fan of it. And she wrote me back, like the simplest sentence in the world, and it completely collapsed my house of cards. She was like, "Yeah, I was 12."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Fuck, you win this round, Turtles."
It's not like even you guys are 22 and now she's 32 now. It's like, yeah, you were kids. Like,
yeah,
you was just as brainwashed as everybody else was.
Yeah, and like she like for me to see it through that lens, you know, of all this shit I've held against people, you know, from that point in my life, you know, specifically at that school, but I'm sure it's trickled into other aspects of my life too, where I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah, I fucking gave you a hard time for Mortal Kombat, but I was also 12.
Yeah,
you know? And it's like, fuck, well, good enough, fair enough point, I suppose.
People change.
Yeah, that's what they say anyway. I was
well, at least from when you're 12,
huh?
Normal.
Yeah,
you want people change from their point of view from when they're 12.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
Yeah, maybe we took it differently, I guess, because I went to Christian school. I got sent to Christian school at 8th grade, and like that's when my faith died. Like that's like instead of like carrying that shit with me, that's when I was like, oh, this is fucking dumb.
Well, so my faith took an ass whipping too, if we're talking about faith in the religious sense.
Yeah, in the religion and of like just the whole church and school.
Yeah. So I agree. I went through that too because I like. So I mean, I was baptized Catholic. my mom married too many men, so we eventually became Episcopal. And
that's when you eat fish, right?
That's when what?
That's when you eat fish only.
No, I don't think so. It's like they call it like diet Catholic. It's like all the religion, half the guilt. But like, I remember thinking like I never like, you know, we were Catholic. Like you don't really, I don't know. It's different for like the born again folks. Like they like, you know, they thump that Bible. I feel like all day. We're like with Catholics, like yeah, it's like I'm Catholic. Like yeah, and I also like Fruit Loops and you know what I mean. Like it's just part of life. It's like you go to church and you say a couple things and you fucking get on with your day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I always had this kind of like respect for the institution of religion and theology and people of faith and, you know, religious leaders and community leaders that are all tied to religion and all that kind of stuff. I just had this like, yeah, they probably got it figured out. You know, they're probably right and I'm probably wrong and hopefully I can be right one day. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's the image they want to project anyway, so it worked.
Yeah, and then I went to Christian school and I like really got to fucking meet these people and I was like, oh, these people are like, they should be locked up for the fucking psychological trauma they're causing on kids like me. Yep. You know, and I was like, and then I got to thinking like, well, you know, like, but then what the fuck does the church you stand for represent? And well, fuck that too. And then I started reading. You know, that's when I started reading the Bible. I read the Quran. I read like a lot of like shit like that when I was like, and I was listening to Wu-Tang and they were talking about it, so like it all kind of made sense. But, you know, and then I started, like, you know, having real questions about all of it. And then that's when, you know, my life started changing. And at first, I'll tell you, like, I bought in. I bought in at first. You know, like, I became, like, a believer and, like, a hardcore believer of sorts.
Oh, yeah, I was too when I was young.
You know, but then it started to trickle out the other way. It's like the harder I went into it, the faster I fell out the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we can wrap up there for today. I think that's enough blasphemy for one day. But I still like I don't think that everything is by chance. I think that there's shit in play. Like I think that it's bigger than what anybody knows.
I mean, I'm not an atheist.
Right. Same.
I'm an agnostic. I'm like I don't know what the fuck is out there, and I'm not going to pretend to know one way or the other.
Right.
You know, like, because, yeah, I think atheism is just a spat in the direction. Like, really, you're sure. You're 100% sure. There's nothing fucking else out there. Have you, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, that's, I guess, what it is. That's what I'm I'm a believer in is doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll see when I see, I guess.
I don't know. I'm not gonna write anything off. I'm not gonna say it's all bullshit or it's all real. I don't fucking know. I just try to do good. I try to do right by people, and hopefully that's enough to get me to the promised land. And if it's not, well, maybe I don't want to be a part of your fucking organization anyway. All right. With that, shout out to the rest of the cool table, Shattercast Uncut, Enter the Realm, Stasis Lock, Toy Detox, Building Up to It, Breaking the Mold, Fresh Communications, Verbally Challenged. Shout out to the folks that got together recently and were heading up New York Mike's collection. I know they put some hours in there, so shout out to those folks. I would mention them all by name, but I'm not exactly sure who was all there on any given day, and I don't want to leave anybody out and that kind of stuff. Then I'll be getting I'll get the PM from somebody else that'll be like, hey, what's up with so and so? What do you mean, what's up with them? Well, you didn't mention them in the thing. Dude, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'll mention them next week. So I'll just avoid all that shit by just saying everybody that took part in it. My heart is with you. You're doing the Lord's work, so to speak. Shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team. Obviously, Chris, who was with us for the majority of the show, and also Raul on Instagram, Dante the Destroyer on Facebook, and Maryland Phil on Twitter and handling our notes. Maryland Phil, go easy on the notes next week because we're going to try to do a regular collector's discussion, I think. And shout out to the folks that helped me with shout out to Manny. I've hit him up. I actually have hit him up now, but he has not gotten back to me. So I hope I always worry about that shit when you have no connections to these people outside of the one, you know what I mean? Like if something happened to me, you could hit Laura up. You could walk to the door. You could. There's 1,000 different ways, but if something happens to Manny, I got nobody. I don't write a letter. Yeah. So I hate that shit. Shout out to all the folks helping me with the Force Sensitive stuff. Gort and Andy, of course. Tyler L. Who also sent me I bought it from him. Just wanted to support, but that Cobra Throne that he printed.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little Sunday overview of it on the channel, but it's
They're locking keys from him too.
Yeah, dude, and Jana finished those up, and she shadow boxed them and everything. It's got them hanging in her room. Pretty fucking cool. I'm happy. Love to see it. And with that,
Lappy Labius.
Tight dick player.